Hi, this is Mato. Welcome to my online chess lecture. In this video I will show you a game between Hou Yifan and Judit Polgar. This epic chess game was played in Gibraltar in 2012. Hou Yifan had white pieces and she started with e4. Judit Polgar played c5, the Sicilian defense, knight to f3, e6, d4, c takes on d4, knight takes on d4, knight to c6, knight to c3, a6. This is the Taimanov variation of the Sicilian defense. Bishop to e2, black to move. Knight on g to e7 was played. Queen to c7 is the most played move. We have knight on g to e7 and now bishop to f4, preventing queen to c7. Knight to g6, attacking the bishop. Knight takes on c6, b takes on c6, bishop to d6, bishop takes bishop, queen takes bishop, preventing castling, queen to e7, offering to trade queens. Hou Yifan castled queenside, queen takes on d6, rook takes queen, king to e7, rook from h to d1. White has a more comfortable position. Knight to f4, bishop to f3, rook to b8, rook from 6 to d2. Let's take it back. How about g3? What is wrong with this move? If g3, then black would play knight to d5. And after e takes on d5, king takes rook, d takes on c6, discover check, king to c7, c takes on d7, bishop takes on d7, and black is standing better. Back to our game. So we have rook from 6 to d2. And let's take it back again. How about in this position? Knight to d5. Is this still good for black without rook to b8? Let's see. Then e takes on d5, king takes rook, d takes on c6 check, king to c7, c takes on d7, and white is better. Back to our game. That is why rook to b8 was played. Rook from 6 to d2, g5, white to move. Knight to a4 was played. e5 would discourage d5. If d5 now, then e takes on d6 en passant. Check. Back to our game. Knight to a4, but this allowed black to play d5, a freeing move. g3, kicking the knight back. Knight to g6, rook to e1, aligning the rook with the black king. King to f6, bishop to h5, rook to b4. Judith somewhat freed her position. Knight to c3 and now d4, attacking the knight. This is the critical position of the game. It is white to move. What is the best square for the knight? What would you do in this position if you had white pieces? Hou Yifan played this very strong move. e5 check. This is the move that made the difference. Let's take it back. If knight to e2, then c5, and black is okay. Back to our game. In this position we have e5 check, daring black to take on e5. Judit Polgar captured the pawn. And what was the idea behind the pawn sacrifice? Hou Yifan played knight to e4 check. King to e7. Let's take it back. If king to f5, then knight to d6 check. And after king to f6, what happens then? Can you see what happens then? Then I will show the move in a slow motion. Rook takes, knight. And after king takes rook, knight takes on f7 check, winning the game. Back to our game. So we have king to e7, knight takes on g5, h6, attacking the knight. What is the best square for the knight? What would you do? Is the best square e4? Hou Yifan played knight takes on e6, bishop takes knight, rook takes on e5, rook to d8, f4, threatening f5, rook to b5, challenging the rook on e5, rook from d to e2, king to f6, bishop to f3 attacking the pawn on c6, c5, a4 attacking the rook, rook to b4, rook takes on c5, rook takes on a4. White is a pawn up and has a better pawn structure. Black's position is more difficult to play. b3, rook to b4, bishop to e4, bishop to g4 attacking the rook, rook to e1, rook to d6, bishop to d3, bishop to d7, rook from e to e5, intending rook from e to d5. To put more pressure on the pawn on d4, bishop to e6, king to d2, rook from b to b6, rook to a5, rook from b to c6, rook to a4, rook to b6, rook to e4, bishop to f5, rook from e takes on d4, winning the second pawn. Rook to e6, bishop to c4, rook from e to c6, rook to a5, black to move. Bishop to c8. If something like bishop to g6, then g4, intending f5. We have bishop to c8. The position is very difficult for black, and white is very precise with a squeeze. Bishop to d3, bishop to e6, rook to d8, bishop to c8, just repeating moves. Rook from a to d5, bishop to e6, rook to h5, threatening to take the pawn on h6, king to g7, white played a move, and black resigned, and the move is f5. Judit Polgar resigned. If bishop goes to c8, then f6 check. If rook takes on f6, rook takes bishop. And if king takes on f6, then rook takes bishop on c8, and after rook takes rook, rook takes on h6, king to e7, rook takes on b6. This game is known as the passing of the torch. What do you think of this game? And that is all. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I wish you good luck with your chess, and bye for now.